quick question for you. Why do you carry a folding knife instead of a fixed blade? Do you enjoy the slimmer blade geometry? Or maybe a better carry profile? Is it because it's more easily concealable? Or do you just enjoy the more premium materials typically found on folding knives? These were all reasons why I typically carry a folding knife over a fixed blade until now. Axial reached out with a brand new release, and this time it is not an OTF knife. It is, in fact, the Alpine V2 fixed blade, and it could change everything. Let's check it out.
This is Sparta!
Hey, how's it going, everybody? If you're new here, welcome in. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Rollshambo, the connoisseur and collector of all things sharp and shiny. And today I'm excited because I got a package in from my friends over at Axial Knives. And guys, they are doing some extremely cool things. What's really interesting is that what I received is by far and away not an OTF knife, which is, you know, fair enough to say what they are most well known for. I don't typically get all kinds of hot and bothered over fixed blades, but today I'm going to. And the reason why is because this is one of those knives that could change everything for a lot of people. I have to ask you the question, why is it that you carry a folding knife over a fixed blade? For some people, it's going to be the ease of carry, the carry profile, or maybe the ease of concealment. Maybe you are someone who just wants to have more premium materials. Fixed blades are not known for their high-end boutique steels and titanium handle scales, but this one is. And it's also a very carry-friendly size. And the reason why I'm not doing an unboxing is because that's not my jam. I am not the unboxing guy. This came in and I absolutely had to put it in the pocket immediately, because when I pulled it out of the box, I knew that this was indeed going to be trouble. And in fact, the very first thing I did before I did anything else was a cut test, because when I looked at the blade stock thickness and confirmed through resources online that this is about 100 thousandths blade stock thickness that comes down to a stupidly screaming thin edge, I had to go through some cardboard. And I honestly, it goes through cardboard just as good, if not better, than the majority of the folding knives in my collection. So that was a very pleasant surprise. And I'm really excited to talk about the Axial Knives Alpine V2. That's right. This is the second version. The very first version was not made here in America, but this one, oh yeah, baby, this one is all American made right here in the great US of A. And they did it. They created a knife. They created a fixed blade that could 100% replace the folding knives in your pocket. But we'll get back to that. First of all, you might be wondering, well, you know, that sounds all good and well, Rollshambo, but what is it made out of? What does it cost? How many bowls of top ramen do I have to stomach to afford this guy? Because if, as you know, knives made here in the United States are not cheap. American labor is not inexpensive at all. So let's get into it. What does it cost? What is it made out of? What are we looking at here? So there are several different variations of this knife. This is the drop point version in stonewashed titanium. You can also get it in a titanium scale that allows for their new MagFlex inlays. You could also get it in micarta. You can also get it in, I believe, G10 as well. Don't quote me. There's a lot of options out there, and I'll make sure to link to them down in the description below. The blade is CPM MagnaCut, which I have it on good authority. It comes in at a targeted Rockwell of 62. 62 is not going to give the highest edge retention, but what it will do is maintain an extremely high level of toughness so that you can get a nice screaming thin edge here behind the blade. The overall length comes in at 6.8 inches with a 3.2 inch blade and a 3.7 inch handle. The handle scales themselves are held in by these T10 Torx screws, and of course, for those of you with extra large hands, there is of course a lanyard hole in the back, and they did actually provide one. I'm not big on lanyards myself, but they did send it my way. Titanium bead, nice lanyard. And yes, this is a lanyard. As long as there is a loop for retention, there is a lanyard. If you do all the twisty, crazy knots, that is actually a fob. And I wanted to make sure to point that out because there is a difference, and a lot of us peasants get that mixed up. So it's nice that this is included, especially with this great titanium bead, because for some people, if your hands are too big, you can actually use that to get a little bit more leverage on the handle skills. Now, for me, I have medium to large size hands, which is to say I have the average size hands for a man here in the United States, and I actually get a full 4-finger grip. And I don't even have to pinch my pinky around on the other side. That's nice. We have a bit of a finger guard right here that goes directly into that sharpening choil, which is perfectly placed because now you don't have to worry about putting a smile on that blade. You will actually get a lot more life out of the edge, and you can continue to sharpen it and resharpen it without having to put a smile on the edge of that blade. As far as the billboarding is concerned, it's actually very minimal. We have Axial on one side of this stone-washed blade. We have the American flag on the other side to showcase that it is in fact made here in the US. And then kind of hidden back here is CPM MagnaCut. MagnaCut is one of my favorite steels, not just because it's new, but because it's an extremely well-balanced steel. Invented by Dr. Laren Thomas, who is one of the foremost experts when it comes to steel specific to knives. It has the ability to have great edge retention, amazing toughness, and extremely good corrosion resistance. And that's difficult with a lot of knife steels because usually you get one or two, but not the third. And so to have a very well-balanced steel like that means that it will be versatile and you can get the best out of it, whether you go with a fixed blade or with a folding knife. On a folding knife, I do prefer a bit better edge retention. I prefer a folding knife with MagnaCut come in at 63 to 65, but 62 is perfect for a fixed blade because on a fixed blade, you're going to be utilizing this knife for a lot more hardcore tasks, or at least you could, and being able to get that toughness to a higher degree means that when you get the blade to a thinner edge like you have on here, you will in fact have better edge retention because every single time blade and edge geometry will in fact trump the edge retention property of a knife steel. And I've got to say, this is 100% beautifully designed. It is extremely slicey. And in case you don't like fixed blades because you don't like a big old blade stock, look at that. Just look at that. Look at how thin that gets there behind the spine of the blade. How often do you hear me say that? Normally, like, oh, it's thin behind the edge. But no, in this case, it's actually thin there on the blade stock as well. The tang is geared here on the back. And if you do get the version that has the MagFlex inlays, you get a little tool that you can put in there to pop out the inlays. They're held in by magnets, which I think is pretty cool. These knives are built and designed to be modular, which is awesome. It's awesome because if you like to have different inlays, like maybe you want a micarta inlay, maybe you want a carbon fiber inlay. Personally, I would love to try this out with the jungle wear carbon fiber. I think that would look phenomenal. I think it's really interesting that we don't have more people that EDC a fixed blade. And I think a lot of it has to do with the stigma that if you're carrying a fixed blade, it's either for hunting or for, you know, doing illegal things. I don't know what I was doing there. The stigma, it's not even created by people in the community. It's created by the people that you are out and about with. How often have you carried a fixed blade and caught yourself getting looks from people? That is 100% the reason why I do like putting these in a scout carry option. I have some pull the dot loops that I'm going to install on this, and that's great because you can essentially put it on your belt buckle or where your belt buckle would be, put your shirt over it, and it's a perfect concealment. Now, I've already tested this out on this knife. It's actually very easy and quick to do. And it's one of those things that I highly suggest if you don't like showing off the fact that you're carrying a fixed blade. Now, I have not mentioned the price on this knife. If you were to go for it in this configuration right here, like what I have with the stonewashed titanium handle skills and no inlay, you're looking at about 250 bucks. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. 250 bucks for well done 62 Rockwell MagnaCut with full titanium handle scales, a fully modular system with a really well done, well molded Kydex sheath that you can alter to fit whatever your carry style might be. That is actually really, really good. There have been some fixed blades that have come out recently that are very EDC friendly with similar materials, but they cost $50 to $100 more, and they're not even made in this country. And I would also be willing to bet that they don't have as good of cutting geometry as what we see here on the Alpine V2. So in those terms, with those standards, when you're looking at high-end premium material, well-made fixed blades that are meant to replace or potentially augment your EDC folding knife carry, I don't know what's competing with this. Oh, you don't like the blade shape? You can get it in a Wharncliffe. Oh, you don't like Wharncliffe? You can get it in a Tonto. This is fantastic, and I really, really am excited to see what else they come out with next. I think that the MagFlex system with the inlays is going to create a great opportunity for knife modders and for people who are really passionate about making the knife unique to them. That's going to be great. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. What's holding you back from carrying something like this awesome Axial Alpine V2 versus something like your everyday folding knife? If you liked the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so yet, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to watch more awesome knife and EDC content, go ahead and click on one of the videos that pops up next.